Hall Public Works on the 19th, Mr. Gwaltney.
Here.
Mr. Wolverton.
Here.
Mr. McCluskey.
Here.
Mr. Wyatt. Here. And Mr. Harden.
Here.
All present. You have a quorum.
All right, so you should all have a copy of the Public Works Committee meeting minutes from October 12th at 5 p.m. I will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of those minutes and approve them. Motion, Councilor Wolverton and Wyatt, right? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 5-0. All right, under old business, 010220, request for updates on Green Springs revitalization project. Berkeley Squires.
I wanted to, I've got Clark and Bailey and Liz Johnson here. Want to kind of give you an update as we're getting ready to begin the Green Springs project. One of the things tonight that we wanted to discuss, and I've had a couple discussions with some of you before, it's going to have to go into a two-phase project with costs that we're looking at on this project right now. And so tonight I wanted Clark to come with me. I did want to give an update. We will begin, we'll go out to bid on the landscaping basically from Berry Road, I believe, to Broadway first. That'll go out late November. We'll accept bids. Melody, I'll get with your office to set that up and get that going. Hopefully to begin in January so we can begin planning and then sod laying by March and to be complete by March 31st of 2021 with that first phase of the landscaping redevelopment there. I'm going to get Clark, I'm going to let him kind of talk. As most of you know, as we went through this process with Green Springs, one of the, I think one of the stakeholders in this thing is the trying to connect the Greenway Trail with Broadway. And I think, as most of you know, price tag on that is about $500,000 to $600,000 to do what we're looking to do. As currently we have $2.75 million to do this project. So I'm gonna kind of let Clark, because I really at this point, if it's all right, Mr. Gwaltney, and we can kind of come back again at the next meeting and kind of get your input, but it's basically as the phases of how you want to do it. I don't want to go in and pave the section between Lakeshore and Broadway if we're going to come back and add this bridge or connector between the Greenway Trail and Broadway. There's no sense in going and tearing that up and then or repaving it and then coming back in if we have to shift the median over in the middle a little bit to accommodate it. So I think probably what we are suggesting would be for you guys, if you're good, we would basically start at Broadway, and basically it'll take, with the budget we're looking at, will take us to about the midway point of where the turn-in is, where Mio Pueblo, if that's the way you pronounce that thing, Mio Pueblo, and then the second phase would begin from there to Valley, and also be an add alternate for the section of Lakeshore to Broadway with the bridge. So that's kind of in short, and I'll let Clark go a little bit further into detail, but that's kind of in short kind of where we're at on the project. But we've completed the drawings and kind of gotten to the point now where it's time to kind of move, and we got the landscaping getting ready to go, which will be the first phase of it, and then begin on this other. So I'll let Clark go from there.
Yeah, so like Berkeley was saying, we're kind of breaking the project up. We want to get the bid within the budget that we have already, in the money we already have in the budget. And so our base bid, when the plans go out, will be just like we started on this project, is there's a little bit of work at Broadway, but then starting that median work, as we've shown on those graphics, from Raleigh all the way to Old Columbiana, which is that signal with Mi Pueblo. And so our construction engineering cost estimate puts that right under $2.8 million right now. That includes contingencies, and construction prices have been kind of fluctuating. So we expect to build that within our allotted budget. We are going to include an add alternate in that bid that would extend that initial project to Valley. So that allows the contractor to go ahead and put a price in. Hey, if we went ahead and did the whole thing to Valley, it would be this much, and then you can decide after those bids come in, because you have a hard number, if you know, if it comes in low, if the first one comes in low and you have some extra funds, and there's another source you want to bring in to get it all the way to Valley, you can do that. So then, like Berkeley was saying, the piece is missing. So one of the other things we did was we looked at that sidewalk connection from Broadway to Lakeshore that would eventually connect to the Greenway on the east side of Green Springs. And it is a lot more complicated than it initially looks. We're impacting, you know, trying to stay out of the stream area, to stay out of some permitting issues and things like that. And it's pushing that sidewalk into the existing pavement, started affecting the median there. And it really just makes sense to be its own separate project. I think there's opportunity to pursue some grants for it even. And I think we need to have a full plan to connect it to the Greenway further than what we have right now. So we need to explore, you know, what does that take? Is there, you know, the bridge and the wetlands and all that. So my recommendation is that spin out as a separate project later. And, you know, if there's a grant available for it, pursue that and complete the project as it was initially intended without it right now. So, I mean, I guess, does that all make sense? Is that clear? So it's basically going out, the landscaping will go from Berry all the way, but the construction work that we talked about would be from Broadway to Old Columbiana.
And that's phase one?
Yes.
Okay. With the ad alternate of?
So if the bids come in low,
Yep.
and, I mean, they would have to come in low, and then y'all would have to put more money towards the project, it could take that initial project, could include all the way to Valley.
All the way to Valley?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then otherwise, phase two would be the section to Valley, and then also the finishing the paving between Broadway and Lakeshore.
Councilor Andrus.
Does that impact bike lanes at all? Are we still getting bike lanes?
Yeah, so it does in a small sense. So the repaving would be including restriping. And it doesn't make, it's difficult to just restripe without repaving. I mean, we could go in there. So the bike lanes would, of course, be included from Broadway to Old Columbiana. For the sections to the north and south of that, we could either utilize, there's existing 5-foot shoulders, and we could utilize them. They wouldn't have those buffer protected ones. But if we don't do those sections, when we do come back and repave, we have the plan ready to go to add those in. So. Anybody else?
Are there any other questions about this project? No? Okay. Thank you. Berkeley Squires? Thank you, Clark. Thank you. Appreciate your input. I'll also add, just so it's noted in the meeting minutes and for those on the web, this project has had multiple public hearings. People could come and give their input in meetings back in the fall of last year, I believe, or maybe it was early this year. It's been a crazy one. Also, it is on the city website as well on the homepage. So with that, we will carry this item over for future updates. So on to 050720, request to address flooding concerns on Hillmore Drive. Councilor Wolverton.
We're gonna go ahead and hold that over. Berkeley and I are working on the scope of what needs to be done, so we will hopefully have an answer in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you. So 050720 is carried over. 020920, request for consideration of work in the right-of-way extending and paving in an alley less than 55 feet from the rear vehicle access at 512 Roseland Drive. We are still waiting on additional input for this item, so we will carry this item over into the next committee meeting. New business, 141020, request to add Wi-Fi access to Spring Park. Councilor Andrus, Gwaltney, and Thames. Councilor Andrus has stepped out. So we have a request for bids out to two carriers to provide some sort of Wi-Fi solution at Spring Park. Multiple neighbors have brought the concern to us that there wasn't a Wi-Fi solution. It's a little bit of a challenge because there's no conditioned space in the bathrooms, but we believe that we've found a solution that will work to provide access. So we'll have an update at our next committee meeting, and probably something to add to the Finance Committee agenda so that we can approve the finance, if it's not already, if it can't already be budgeted in finance on a certain line item. So we will carry over this item. 161020, request to address ADA accessibility concerns on Cobb Street sidewalks near Hall Kent Elementary. Councilors Wolverton.
Counselors.
You're plural.
Plural. Yeah, so there are several sections of sidewalk there along Cobb Street, right by the school, where there's no ramp. So Greg was going to look at this. I believe it would be kind of funded out of the retroactive ADA compliance sidewalk fund.
We do have funds for it in the budget, and I'm going to just go ahead and put them in.
Okay. Now, do we need to go to finance for any of that, or
No.
you can handle it?
I can handle it.
Okay,
Is it-
perfect.
You've got $50,000 or $100,000 budgeted every year for compliance so that we make our.
And I remember that we
2024
didn't even
goal.
come near all that last year.
No, I've been working on wheelchair ramps, and as soon as they're pointed out, we hit them.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you so much, Greg.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
question. Mr. Wolverton, are these the ones that are right in front of the school?
So there's several along Cobb. One is that prominent corner where one of the courtesy officers stands in the morning for
Sure.
crosswalks. So that's one section, and then the other sections are further up Cobb, closer to the carpool in the back.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. So is that, okay, all right.
So basically, the very far, I guess, arterial back into the loop for back carpool already has ramps there, but then everything between that and the front of the building is not ramped
And
currently.
they're chopped up because of all the different
It
parking
is.
lots and things like that?
It
Okay.
is, yeah.
And that is city property, right, not school?
I believe that's correct. I mean, it would be city right away, I'm almost positive. Hey, Greg,
I'm just making sure.
Mr. McCluskey was asking, all of those sidewalk areas are city property, correct? Not school property, where the sidewalks are?
I don't really know how that works. To me, if it's in our right-of-way, it's city property.
That's what I thought.
prefer Mr. Kendrick, he would agree. If it's
Okay.
on our right-of-way, we just do it.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So, Mr. Wolverton or Mr. Cobb, how many ramps are we adding?
I believe there are 5 sections.
Okay. So this is probably a 2 to 3 month project, if I had to guess? No?
It's
No, it's
mainly
more
just
like a-
curb cuts and,
It's more like a week and a half if I can get somebody on it. I mean, from when they start.
Okay.
Right
Yeah, I was-
now, I've been having issues with, things are coming back to life, and contractors seem to be real busy right now because I've not been able to get a couple of things done I've been trying to get done. But as soon as I get a person on it, I would say a week and a half would probably do it.
Okay, excellent. I was just curious about a timeline.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the committee or other counselors present?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we need a motion to approve, considering it's already in the?
Well, yeah, we don't have to send it to, we
Okay.
don't have to send it to finance, just approving
Gotcha.
the work to be done.
In the affirmative?
Yes.
So we have a motion to
Second.
approve. Is there a second? Second from Counselor Wolverton. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion. Counselor McCluskey, and Wolverton was the second. So that motion carries 5-0. With that, we adjourn Public Works.